graveyard shift. My fellow speakers and I are very appreciative. So starting off, I want to invite everyone to imagine that you're an investment analyst and it's 4 in the afternoon and your investment colleague emails you to say that they have to take a project to the investment decision committee next week. They're so sorry for the short time frame, but is there any way you can do a quick review of any publicly available information about the company to make sure that there are no red flags? In fact, they even have some of this information handy, like the most recent annual report that they can send over if that will help. You say, okay, you'll do your best to make it happen and open the email they send you with a 700-page attachment. My colleagues and I frequently face this dilemma. We work for the Environment, Social, and Corporate Governance Department of the International Finance Corporation. My name is Atya Karmali, and I work alongside 200 other experts who cover a variety of issues like climate change, biodiversity, and corporate governance. The International Finance Corporation is a member of the World Bank Group and is the world's largest global development institution focused on making investments through the private sector. This past year, we invested almost $33 billion in companies in emerging markets. And when making investments, we look carefully at the sustainability impact of a client's operations and consider a multitude of issues, like their track record for worker safety, methods of pollution prevention, or approaches to engaging stakeholders. And working with clients to meet their financial, development impact, and sustainability goals continues once they are in our portfolio through input from a team of experts with specialized knowledge. But let's go back to our investment analyst, who is beginning on page 1 of that 700-page report, because successfully delivering this investment strategy means analysts must review between 10 to 20 documents a week, often many pages in length, and frequently filled with technical jargon requiring subject matter expertise to understand. In other words, the amount of information you have to review can be vast, and often you only have a few days, and on one recent occasion, hours, in which to make this happen. And this scenario is not unique to my colleagues and me. This is a common dilemma also faced by many in the audience, like academics, policymakers, and data analysts. We all know the feeling of too much to read and not enough hours in the day, and are left asking, how do you balance this review of reams and reams of technical text with the need to respond rapidly and efficiently in support of your institution's needs? Now imagine you have a colleague who never gets tired, never sleeps, and can read 19,000 sentences a minute. Meet MALENA, or Machine Learning, Environment, Social, and Governance Analyst. MALENA is an artificial intelligence, and MALENA has been taught to read documents and find issues of relevance to my colleagues, like the amount of water a company used in its operations, or the number of women members on a company's board, or any risks the company posed to the health of communities in the past year. Not only does MALENA tell my colleague where a word or phrase is found in a document, but MALENA also gives her the context or sentiment in which these words occur in a sentence. For instance, MALENA tells her if the words water consumption are found in a positive context, in a sentence that says water consumption has decreased in a company's operations. Or alternatively, MALENA tells her if the phrase women on the board is found in a negative context, if a sentence says a company has not achieved its board diversity goals. This helps my colleague understand what a company is doing well, or where they are having problems, and get to the important stuff quickly so she can get on with making her investment recommendation. How does MALENA do this? MALENA is based on a technology called natural language processing. Natural language processing is a branch of artificial intelligence that allows computers to understand written and spoken language, or in other words, to read and listen to words or text. First developed in the 1950s, the technology has become very sophisticated in recent years, thanks to advances by Google and Meta, and most recently, OpenAI, and its much discussed and debated ChatGPT chatbot that uses a type of natural language processing to generate text. Big technology firms frequently make their artificial intelligence applications available for exploration, adaptation, and even improvement by others. And MALENA is based on an open source model first developed by Google in 2018 called BERT, which was later refined by Meta. And it's access to such open source artificial intelligence applications together with cloud computing that has made in-house development of specialized applications like MALENA that much more accessible to institutions like ours. In fact, institutions like the International Finance Corporation are particularly good laboratories for developing these types of specialized applications because these institutions have what such models love, and the reason we're all here today: data. Being in business for nearly 70 years means the International Finance Corporation has generated a lot of data. Much of this is stored in Word documents and PDF files. Exactly the kind of data these types of models excel at analyzing. Even better, this data can be used to teach models like BERT specialized subject matter knowledge, also known as fine-tuning a model. This is particularly useful for subjects with a lot of dense technical jargon, like medical terms, legalese, or in the case of MALENA, over 1,000 environment, social, and corporate governance topics. We started building MALENA in 2019, and over the past 4 years have used documents going back to 2001 to create 150,000 examples of training data to teach MALENA the meaning of terms like greenhouse gas emissions, board composition, or biodiversity management plan. As of date, MALENA has read almost 250,000 documents and created insights for 10,000 companies in 186 countries in 26 sectors. We've already talked about one of MALENA's strengths, which is understanding context. Understanding context has allowed MALENA to identify 15 million risk terms from all the documents it has read and to classify these as positive, negative, or neutral. And why is this of value to you? Classifying risks saves time reading and organizing information, gives you a head start, and helps you understand what a company is doing well or what they may be struggling with. MALENA's other big strength is speed. It can read 19,000 sentences a minute. Documents like that 700-page annual report are analyzed in the matter of minutes. And after scouring documents, MALENA structures the insights and generates dashboards on sustainability performance. These dashboards make the relevant information easy to find and display results through different lenses like document or sentiment or risk type. What does this help you do? At the press of a button, users can unlock curated information from many lengthy documents, PDFs, tables, running into thousands of pages, disregard the non-essential information, and focus on what matters. This helps you make better informed decisions, and this has been a game changer to how we do business. For instance, we have been able to help our colleagues reduce the amount of time it takes to compile an insightful company profile from weeks to half a day. And while this has increased productivity and reduced errors, it has given our experts more time to do what humans still do better than machines, which is unstructured problem solving, or thinking creatively and innovating to find answers to problems for which the rules do not exist. So what does this mean for you in the audience? While initially conceived as an in-house solution for our experts, MALENA is in beta testing with other users. This is because we plan on making MALENA available for use externally in summer this year, a full year ahead of schedule. And we are racing to get MALENA out as quickly as possible in order to meet a key challenge to the Sustainable Development Goals, which is the gap in sustainability data. This data gap has been identified as a blocker to making sustainable, long-term investments, especially in the parts of the world where development needs are the greatest, and as a consequence, the gaps in the global goals are the most significant. This impetus to share MALENA is also motivated by research, both our own as well as that of others, that finds news, impact reports, and corporate disclosures like bond prospectuses were underused by investors when assessing the sustainability performance of companies in emerging markets. Often because investors just don't have the in-house capacity needed to review all this information. Therefore, by using MALENA to read and structure this underused information, investors can now easily assess these companies that went uncovered. But why does this matter to the Sustainable Development Goals, and how might this matter to you? The funding gap to meet the global goals is estimated at $2 to $3 trillion annually. While that sounds like a massive number, wait for the next one. In contrast, there are almost $200 trillion invested in capital markets globally, a small percentage of which, if redirected, can help meet this goal. And MALENA can help make this happen. I imagine some of you may have concerns about using an artificial intelligence tool. This is why trust, as we've heard many times over the course of the forum, is critical. Users and stakeholders must trust that their privacy is respected, their data is used transparently and responsibly, and stored securely, and that technologies like the ones MALENA is based on are adopted in an equitable and inclusive manner. To ensure this, we are developing a data and model governance framework covering ethics, fairness, and explainability, or transparency around how MALENA makes decisions. This is to increase trust and confidence in MALENA's predictions and ensure MALENA's outcomes can be easily interpreted by the end user. So, how can this help you find what you need in your version of that 700-page report? In less time than it took me to explain MALENA to you, MALENA scanned that document for my colleague so she could make better investment decisions. I hope you will consider doing the same and join us with beta testing. Thank you.